This episode is the third in a series that was recorded March 23rd, 2024, about the power of intention to rewire your brain and change your thinking permanently.
The idea of intentionally maintaining your state or your mood, that's got to be one of the most critical things that you can do. Anthony Robbins talks about his rocking chair test, right? Imagine that you're sitting on the porch when you're old and ask yourself, what about my life do I regret? And whatever comes up, change it, And so I remember, I've talked about this before, but I'll mention it again because it's appropriate. When I learned to quit smoking, I was so thrilled that I quit and that I figured out a way to quit. That was a mind blower, that I was actually able to consciously do it. And so I talked to this friend of mine and I said, "Hey, I figured out how to quit smoking. If you want to stop smoking, I'll show you how to do it." And he said, "Well, you've all got to die sometime. We've all got to die sometime." Well, a few years ago, he died. Lung cancer. He smoked for 50 years after I quit. And I thought to myself, the reason that I quit, one of the reasons I quit, one of the big reasons I quit, was because I did that rocking chair test. I sort of, in my mind, I thought, how do I want to be when I'm 75? Well, 75, that seemed like a long way away. I asked myself, how do I want to be when I'm 75? And I thought, do I want to be a person who's still smoking at 75? And I thought, no way, right? So that was a motivation for me to quit. Now, that thought that I had, that little image in my mind of me at 75, that took that long, right? It was just a flicker of an idea. But I decided I wanted to stop smoking because I knew smoking was stupid, it was expensive, and it was unhealthy, right? So I thought, that's stupid to keep doing that. And I decided I'm going to quit smoking no matter how long it takes. And all together, it took me about a year from the time I decided I was going to quit, because I quit and started, like everybody or like a lot of people. But eventually I figured it out. And I said to this guy, if you want to quit smoking, I'll show you how to do it. And he said, "Well, we've all got to die sometime." Well, he died, he was like 72 or something, 73, because he was younger than me. And he had two fantastic kids. I think he had 4 or 5 amazing grandchildren that he absolutely doted on, who were the biggest source of joy in his whole life. And he died, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I thought about that, because I'm older than 75 now, and I'm so grateful, I'm so glad that I had that thought and I made that decision and I made that change, right? Mm-hmm. That it's like, and I'm probably grateful. I probably think about this several times a week, that I'm glad that I made that decision, which changed the direction of my health, right? So the idea that our body's always got some kind of combination of neurochemicals in it, not just neurochemicals, but hormones and all different kinds of chemicals. Apparently millions of chemicals and combinations of them are flooding through our bodies all the time. So anything that we can do to have positive chemicals flowing through our body, and that comes from nutrition and avoiding certain things and adding certain things to our diet. but also things like meditation and thinking positive thoughts, reading your past successes list. Have I mentioned the past successes list before? I think I have.
I think so, maybe.
I mean, it just makes you feel good. And so what does that mean? It feels good. Well, it means you're flooding your body with some kind of positive chemicals, right? So, yeah, it's vital. It affects the quality of your life.
I recently heard that, I guess it's the dopamine,
Yeah.
that you actually get more dopamine released into your system when you're anticipating something. Because as soon as you hit the goal, the dopamine shuts off. So that's really kind of stuck with me, that having something to constantly be looking forward to is actually a really great way to keep that state, that feeling of dopamine in your system.
Right.
So like for me, a couple weeks ago, some of my projects, like personal projects that I've been working on, were kind of done. Like I was in a holding pattern for this like book launch that we're doing, like all these things. And I felt kind of depressed.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't have a new project. I didn't really have anything that was pulling me that I was supposed to be working on. And I didn't really want to start something new because, it was really just waiting for other things. And I really noticed it. And now all of a sudden a friend of mine at work has presented me with an idea. And we met this morning and we met yesterday. And all of a sudden it's like, I got all the dopamine back in my system again. And it's like, I feel amazing.
Absolutely.
So, that whole,
yeah, absolutely.
It's really very interesting. Yeah. When you start to pay attention and really listen to what's going on in your body and what's happening here versus what's happening here, like it's really powerful how easily you can connect the dots and then make changes once you understand it.
Absolutely. Well, if you think about, certain people, it's sort of built in to their lifestyle. I mean, professional athletes, just for example. I mean, they've always got a game coming up, right? Or they got a practice coming up. They got, they're working on something. Actors, same thing. They have some job coming up. They got to study. They got to learn their lines. They got to, build the character, whatever it might be. So that's one of my fundamental principles, is to always have goals that you're working on. I have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. In my case, with the health that I mentioned, a 50-year goal practically, right? 45-year goal. When I get to be 75, I don't want to be a smoker. And so, I was 30, I guess, when I had that thought, roughly. So that thought changed my life for the better, right?
Well, Jess, I really like that. As you talked about that model, I mean, I think of your future self or this image of something that you're excited about. And I think of ruminating on that future and it pulling you like a rope towards it, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of it's half the fun is getting there kind of thing. But because it goes along with the magic principle. I think in your book you were talking about attitude, and part of attitude is belief in something that is going to happen, or motivation as well comes from your future goals list, or it comes from your successes list. It's kind of a push-pull, right? I look at it that way, but I hadn't thought of it that way. But I see, kind of beginning your day. I love your Bring the Joy theme, because I think it's kind of like a lot of times I'm kind of average. I mean, I'm a little positive, and there could be negative aspects of my personality, but I look at that and say, wow, are you bringing joy? Are you bringing a lot of fun? Are you bringing this anticipatory, tomorrow's going to be better than today, kind of a childlike exuberance, right? And even that, I think that relates a little bit to maybe your casting and your success that you're having. Mm-hmm. I think by being so positive and so, it's kind of fun what you're trying to do. And you bring the joy. I was talking to a customer they said the other day, and I said, I'm not always been that way, but I'm forming myself. And they said, I just love my business. I love doing what we're doing. And we were working on a project together. And they said, really? And they're like, because I think they felt kind of average about it. And they got encouraged. And they're like, okay, that's what I want to do. And she's kind of new and very talented girl in the business. And so she was excited to work with me because I was having fun. I was like, let's make it
Yes.
fun. Let's make this relationship fun. Let's make tomorrow fun. And I think about it when I think of what you're saying with the dopamine. It's kind of like juicing yourself. Yeah, you're juicing yourself forward with this excitement and joy, kind of in a childlike way. I mean, you look at children running around crazy happy. I have young teenagers and stuff, and I mean, I'm like, they're so excited about everything. I mean, they're just so fresh, and like, when they come in the house, they're just bopping off. I'm doing this and doing that, and you're thinking, wow. I mean, we're so used to being tamped down to be professional, to be, moderate, to do all these things. And I think I'm a natural extrovert, quite often. And I've been tamped down. You tamp yourself down over time. You want to be professional. You want to be the expert. You want to be knowledgeable, and corporate, for example. But, just to be excited about what you're doing is kind of, unusual. It's much easier to be grumpy or complaining or, getting through the day. But I like the idea that chemically something is saying, because I think a lot of people are chasing the high, right? Chasing the high with bad habits, or chasing the high with food, chasing it with there. I like the idea of chasing the high with your dreams. It's like, allow yourself to be excited. I think I was telling you in a past thing, you say to my guys, give it 100%. Give it 100% if you're 51% sure of something, right? And you'll find that you then have the chance of success, and you can appropriately measure whether it's working. But when you're dogging it, or you're questioning it all the time, you don't really know if what you're doing is working because you're not doing it, or because it's kind of like the only way to do it is to be out there. But when I look at that as juicing yourself chemically, that sounds exciting to me. I'm like, okay, that's worth it. That's worth a shot. I mean, it's kind of like the Costanza thing. Yeah.
Worth a shot.
So that's a good point.
It's
Go ahead,
worth
Anthony.
a lot more than a shot, my friend.
Well, that's one thing I was thinking.
This is vital information. Now, you guys might not have noticed this, but I'll just point it out to you, just in case you haven't paid any attention. We do these calls every week. Okay. And so I look forward to it every week, right? Now, looking forward to something positive, I mean, there's two sides to it, right? That, for example, you were talking, Greg, about getting this group of workout buddies now at the gym, right? So you look forward to going to the gym. It's easier to go to the gym now. The whole flavor of going to the gym has changed. Used to be a grind. I'm going to go to the gym, Right. Now it's like, not only are you looking forward to it because you're getting benefits from it. I mean, you're starting to look different, your complexion's different and whatever. But also the other part of it is, you mentioned this too, that if you don't go, they're going to criticize you. And as a matter of fact, I think you sweetened the pot by saying you're going to pay your fine, right?
Yeah,
if you didn't
$50,
if you didn't show up, you're going to pay $10 or whatever it might be, $100. I can't remember. So
it's $50. It's $1. That's a lot.
Yeah. So you have the double whammy, right? You have the positive anticipation of how you're going to feel after you go to the gym. That helps motivate you to go to the gym. But you've also got the negative. They're saying, hey, if I don't go to the gym, these guys are going to get on my case. And it's going to cost me money too. I'm going to have to buy them, whatever, right? Yeah. Buy them a copy of Mind, Time, and Power. So I've mentioned this to you before. Start your own group. And a group can be one person. I mean, at the moment, there's only the three of us. It's not a big group, right?
Well, it started as just two, right?
Exactly. But, setting yourself up so that you have to be there, which is what I do every week. I know I have to be here, and I get prepared. I anticipate it. I look forward to it. It's an important thing. It's a goal of mine every single week, right? So I have goals every day. I have stuff I'm working on every day. It's either I'm writing something, or I'm producing something, or I'm, putting together a talk, or, I'm working on a video, whatever it might be. So yeah, having, daily goals, weekly goals, hourly goals, even, having something that you want to work on today. Well, by noon, I want to have this much done. And, by 5 o'clock, I want that much done, kind of thing. To me, that's just a part of my lifestyle now, and it makes a huge difference. So I'm excited, most days I'm excited because I have things that I'm anticipating in a positive way. So yeah, it's a big thing. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, just back to kind of what Greg was saying too. Something that came to mind is when I'm at work, like you're talking about professionalism and like but bringing joy to wherever you are. So the job that I have, I didn't do anything other than just show up as me. I have girls that come to my desk and give me hugs every morning, right? Like I don't see them doing that to other people. Like I just, and they come over and they talk and we have these, and they're always like, oh, you're such an inspiration. And I mean, I'm not doing anything other than just showing up as me. Right. But it's this choice of who me is. And I bring that wherever I go, kind of back to the whole coffee bean thing that I love to share so much. But it's also interesting that there's a couple of ladies that I work with, and because of who I am, we have different kind of conversations. So they come and they share with me, which is great. And there's two of them right now that feel super lost. Like they don't have anything that they're striving for or reaching for. And it's like they're in this perpetual state of, I don't know. I'm just here, and it's really hard to see. And so they know that they can come and talk to me, but like they're not ready to figure it out. It's like they're just sort of stuck in this place, and they can't even get to a point where they want to figure it out. It's like they're stuck. And then this past weekend, I have a friend that I've started walking with, and he tends to be on the slightly negative side of life. He's a little bit more of the looking for the shit end of the stick kind of guy. But I enjoy his conversations because we debate, right? Like we just kind of, the whole time we're walking, it's like an intellectual stimulation and we can go, and it's great. On the back of my car, I have a bumper sticker that says "Live Happy." And it was really funny because as he was walking away last weekend, he looks at me and he goes, "Live happy." Like, it's almost like he was like joking, like, oh, that's just so Pollyanna kind of thing. And I'm like, hey, it's my mode of operation. It works for me. Like, too bad that you think it's ridiculous, but you know what? It's just who I am, and it works for me. So it's really interesting when you start paying attention to people and how they show up and just the limitations that they put on themselves, and just it's just really, it's fun to kind of watch, right? Whoa, Bill's coming in late.
Yeah. So if you think about that guy's model of the world, right?
Oh yeah.
Now most of us grew up learning a model of the world which is fundamentally untrue. Hi, Phil. So for example, when you say "live happy," right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, most people, if you ask them, what does it take for you to feel happy?
Mm-hmm.
Most people are going to say, well, something good has to happen. In other words, they're reacting to the world. They have to have something good happen in their world for them to feel happy. Whereas we know, if I want to feel happy, all I have to do is think about something that makes me feel happy, like I quit smoking, or I have great grandkids, or I went to the gym 4 times this week. I'm losing weight, I'm getting closer to finishing my book. So in other words, we generate our happiness with a thought that we can control. Now, that's a fundamental shift between.
Well, and what a total in control way to live.
Yeah, exactly. So, Phil, how was your run?
Good. Yeah, I just thought I would pop in here.
Pop away.
Yeah, I did do my run, but we are also tidying up the house because I'm Meg's throwing a party for me for my birthday, which is officially Monday, but we're going to have about 30 people here at the house this afternoon.
Oh wow! Far out.
Ooh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Dare I say, you look younger and it might be because you got a haircut. And
No,
you didn't get a haircut?
no.
Oh, well, your hair looks.
I
your
just
hair
have been
looks-
on my run. I've just been on my run, and I guess I'm kind of all pink there. I see.
Well, yeah, not only that, but I think you might be losing a pound or two as well because.
I've lost probably. I probably lost about 10 pounds since I started.
Yeah. So
running,
you're maybe. I mean, part of it might be my imagination, but I think it's true.
Yeah.
I think you're starting to look a little leaner and slimmer.
Yeah, a little craggier.
Yeah, we were all just. I think we mentioned you this morning already on the call here that you're doing this running. So good to see you. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
When is your birthday? Do you want to mention?
March 25th.
25th.
Monday. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to remember because it's 3
Happy birthday to you. Come on, everybody.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
birthday, dear Phil.
Happy birthday
to you.
Because of Zoom, it's very hard to sing together. There's a little bit of offset.
It's not.
Yeah,
Zoom.
that was the
It's
problem.
not
That
Zoom.
must
It's
be the
not.
problem.
Go.
So,
So you were going to say when I butted in there, it's easy to remember. Why is it easy to remember?
because it's exactly 3 months after Christmas.
See, I never thought of that in my whole life. I never ever thought of that before, but for some reason you did. I wonder why that is.
And when I was about 6, and it's very unusual, Easter fell on my birthday.
Right.
It's, depending on the lunar cycle and all, whatever, they've got this complicated formula. 80%, 89% of the time, Easter falls in April, but sometimes it moves forward.
Yeah, they probably use a lunar calendar, I would think.
And another complicating factor is leap year, which this year meant that the equinox happened on the 19th, not the 20th or the 21st, or even the 22nd.
Oh, that's interesting because it's leap
year. Like it can. Yeah.
Right.
Because we just had this leap year. So February 29th pushed everything back.
There you go. I never thought about that. Yeah, my birthday is the 17th of April, right? And that's sometimes that's sort of the outer limit, I think, of what Easter can fall on. There's a range, right? And so
can you wait 1 minute? I heard my wife in the other room saying, "Phil, I need your help. I got to answer the call."
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say
When's
that
your birthday, Anthony?
Sometimes my birthday's on Easter, or Easter's on my birthday. Pardon?
Yeah.
What day is your birthday, Anthony?
17th.
All right.
Go for it, Phil.
Anyway, so
see what Meg
saying
wants.
hi. I would have been here a little longer, but duty calls.
No, that's great. I'm glad you popped in.
Have fun.
Thanks.
Okay.
See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You ever see that Saturday Night Live skit? Bye-bye. Do you remember that? I'm not sure what it was about. I just remember that bye-bye.
Didn't it just keep going back and forth like, bye-bye?
I think so.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, don't you think he looks better? I think he looks
movie.
younger. He looks better than he
looked
did.
great.
He looks happy for sure.
I mean, he's been running now, I think every day, but he's certainly been running on a regular basis for.
Well, speaking of chemicals, he's got
months,
the runner's chemicals going through his body. Plus, he's got the gold chemicals going through his body.
Exactly. And he's been, every day he's probably getting a little better and a little easier and, easier for him to run.
Hopefully he's gotten past through the suck and he's feeling good now, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this is good. So thanks for being here, you guys. And I think this idea, that we all have a map of the world. Everybody has a different map. We need to understand that. And if we want to communicate with people, we need to meet them in their model of the world as much as possible. If we can do that, then there's communication, right? And if we don't do it, then there's lack of empathy, lack of communication, lack of harmony, right?
I think also, though, for us to recognize that, like, those are our limitations as well, right? Like, my map of the world, like, I think of my sister, who basically, her map of the world and my map of the world are so completely different, but hers allows her all this crazy freedom that I look at that and I'm just like, oh, it paralyzes me, right? Like, she's living out in the middle of nowhere. She's got like 2 years worth of food in her pantry. She's got chickens. This morning, she's spending her morning going through her honey from her bees, right? Like, and she's so totally self-sufficient. She doesn't have a job. She has a business. She just, and I mean, I look at that and it terrifies the heck out of me. So that's my model of the world. And it's actually a limitation that I've put on myself. So not only how can we use that outwardly to communicate, but I think it's also really good to start questioning our own model of the world to see where we're holding ourselves back.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So all of our models are limited.
Yeah.
In some way, right? And so, we learn these models. I mean, we create them unconsciously, but we create them. I mean, lots of times we'll just adopt them from other people, parents or whatever, friends, classmates, whatever, schoolmates. But yeah, they're all, to some degree, they're limited because they're not accurate. They're accurate in a certain situation. And as you pointed out a couple of weeks ago, we create these models because they serve a purpose at some point. And generally speaking, their purpose is to make us feel better, either to make us feel happy or to avoid feeling bad. That's generally the two things that those are the two factors that motivate us pretty well all the time, right? Where, we want to feel better and we don't want to feel worse.
Mm-hmm. I have this voice in my head and I know whose it is. It's my mom's and I hear it all the time. So I have an opportunity, if I want to take it, to rent a shelf in a store in Langley where I can put all of my books, but it's going to cost me $250. And when I mentioned it to my mom goes, oh, like that's a lot. Like, what's involved with that? Is there a contract? And she started listing off kind of all these scare tactics as to why I shouldn't do it. And it's like, oh man, like that's on replay in my head all this. Every time I tell her something, she is the negative. I mean, she's wonderful. I don't mean to say she's negative, but she's got this like overprotective thing that she does that can really shut me down if I'm not aware of it. And so I find it very interesting, and I'm becoming more aware of where the thoughts are coming from and whose voice those thoughts are coming from as well.
Yeah, well, I talked a couple times in the last few months about reframing these messages that I got from my parents,
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things was that I realized that what they were teaching me, what they were saying to me, which I took as these are the rules of life. This is what you should do to live your life, right? What I realized is they were communicating to me their model of the world that they had developed because it worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was right. I assumed it was right because they were my parents. But only recently did it sort of come to me in a more powerful way that I don't have to follow this because it's the right thing to do, and I don't have to feel that I'm rebelling somehow if I don't follow it, because it's just something that they learned as kids, probably before the age of 10 or 15. They developed this model of the world because it worked for them at the time. Well, of course, in their case, they grew up during the Depression, right? And then World War II. So different time, different model. So that gave me permission, again, if I needed it, to let it go, or let it go a little more, because I've been letting it go, for a lot of my adult life. But
mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think this has been fruitful discussion. Greg, you were going to say?
I was just going to say, I think it, the protective instinct by our parents is natural. I think we were talking about love language, and I think that it's a way in which you want to make sure your kids are safe.
Yeah.
Is the first thing. And one of the ways we do it is to give them warnings that we think society's going to give them, right? So, penny saved is a penny earned, right? And these different models that, our parents bestow on us. And the timing may be the opposite of what we want at the time. But I think that one of the things that studying some of this has allowed me to do is to change the meaning. And so when I run into that obstacle, I've found, and it's almost chemical, is that if I flip the meaning, now all of a sudden I can be excited. I can hear that discouragement. I can process it and say, well, they're trying to discourage me out of love or out of protection or trying to teach me. We all have a need to teach. And they want to teach you how to, the model should be, right? So you say, hey, they're doing that because they love me. And normally I would be kind of irritated. I said, I don't need that discouragement right now. But I think to flip it around in kind of a quick minute and say, become excited now that I don't have to interpret it the way they're interpreting. I don't have to adopt that philosophy. And that happens with other things I've been noticing too, in my relationships. I've had people that say things that are off-putting, and I've kind of ignored it. At first I just ignored it, the comment or the thing, and then kind of reframed it and said, I'm not going to freak out or, be combative about that or allow myself to become upset. But instead, I've been tolerant and, kind. And I think that's improved my relationship. I've got closer to those people, or they've exhibited, not verbally all the time, but just sometimes later, where they're more affectionate. They're happy that I didn't react to that way the same way I'd done before. And it's kind of funny. I mean, I listen to that morning and evening mantra right now for I guess a meditation that Anthony had put together, and I hear different aspects of that, but they're almost like self-fulfilling. I'll hear the aspects of you're becoming more powerful. You're making better decisions. You're using the power, the 5 principles to motivate yourself, and it's kind of become almost like, I can repeat them almost, the whole thing. And so as I do that, I'm following that map that I'm getting better. These affirmations, I guess, if you will, are becoming true. And this is an aspect of that, where as I don't react as the way I would have in the past, but I react differently, even emotionally for myself. And it goes along with this, I think it's more effective. And all of a sudden you start to see, wait a minute, not only can I understand empathetically the other person's, model, but we now have a choice. We can either lead this joyful one, excited one, motivational one. And I find people are kind of looking for a leader. I mean, they're just naturally, dogs do it, animals do it, family members do it. They want to follow the leader. If no one's there, you'll end up with a leader. If no one shows up. But as you start to act in a leadership fashion, I would say that's why the girls, as you said, Jessica, are hugging you. They're like, gosh, a breath of fresh air into this office, it's kind of, you watch the Survivor Island, and it's like, they'll pick someone that's fun to have around. They're kicking everybody else off, because even though this guy can cook, they don't really need to cook. I guess we'll have to eat that, but we want to win $1 million, but don't kick off the person with a great attitude, right? Because if not, the island's going to be misery, right? And so I think that some of this, being optimistic and moving forward and empathetic, but, kind of deciding on our own model here that we're picking and choosing. I like what Anthony said here. I like what this person said there. I like this person's view on religion. Seems to be kind of like a fast pass. I think of taking the fast pass. Sometimes things are happening so fast right now for me that I'm able to do stuff faster than I could ever do them. And I feel like I'm buying the fast pass. Like sometimes the wealthy, they don't sit there and wait in 4 lane, and I'm in LA, you get 7 lanes of traffic. Well, they're zipping by on the $4 toll. They zip to work faster. I watch people driving in Teslas. They're not even driving, sometimes here. Right. I thought of it. You could buy a Tesla, for the commute, I can work. I'm in sales. I can be on the phone with two hands calling, taking some notes and calling someone and making the money pay for the Tesla. So to me, that's a, hack, if you will, that you start doing that everywhere. It's like, Amazon is like that. People are hacking. They don't want to go to the store. They want to have it come to their door. They go online. I need this to change my life. I want a new coffee pot. Boom. They get the coffee pot. It's there tomorrow. They put the coffee pot up. They're now having coffee with their friends. They go, they're more energized. They go to work. They make a little more money. They buy the coffee pot, right? I mean, so I think you're seeing it in a lot of ways that we're doing things that are creative and unusual. I mean, the two of you, just been so pleased to be here. I was looking at Anthony's views on YouTube last night a little bit, and I was looking at some of them. We get some followers every day here or each week, but at the same time, you've had some tremendous numbers of views on some of your hits. I think I saw one with 78,000 views. It was an older one, but there's people attracted to the concepts that you're talking about, and that's why I was encouraging you to do more. And I think that sometimes you can be right on the cusp of really popping out into fame or fortune, or whatever you want to call it, or effectiveness. And I don't know if even at this age, if we care about the money, frankly, or money of being successful. I just think we are excited about what we're doing. And it's important not to be discouraged by, low numbers. I was thinking about, Jesus had 12 disciples, right? I mean, we're like, it's only 3 of us. Like, well, there's 4. There's been 8 in this room. I think there's other people watching. It could easily expand very quickly that some of these ideas are productive. Because frankly, I get tired of watching my kids watch dystopian movies. All that Hollywood's been putting out is dire destruction for a long time. And it's really sad for a lot of these youth to have to almost wade, upriver against this tide of BS that is so negative. I'm like, looking for leaders to step out and be excited about life.
You are the leader that you have been looking for.
Yeah. I mean, we create what we want. We create the beautiful future, or we create the terrible future. I mean, it's come to me through this practice and other practices that we're like paving a highway in front of us. You go left and forward to a beautiful future that's heaven on earth, or you can go to hell. Literally, here you can have the people that are, on Skid Row are living in hell. They're living a living hell, and people that take their life are living. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people,
but we don't know. We don't want to judge. We don't want to paint them all with the same brush. So yeah, that's great. So I have 3 comments about what you mentioned there. Just to kind of reiterate, the first one was very powerful. You said you could change the meaning of something, you feel better. That changes the neurochemicals in your body. So that's how easily you can do it. Just change the meaning, right? The other thing was, when you change the meaning of something, it changes your model of the world. Like when you said, you realize that what your parents were saying to you, this goes for all of us, I'm assuming, which we sort of took as, maybe ordering us around or giving us rules to follow, something like that. When we realize that they're acting from love, that's a different model of the world. My parents actually loved me, and here's the proof. They tried to help me, order my life in a certain way, right? And the other thing that I was going to mention was, it reminded me of that principle that Brian Tracy talks about if you can do something that improves the quality of your life today by 0.1%, then in 2 years, your life is pretty well 200% better. Just a little thing like that, just a little thought, a little slogan that you might say, or a little realization. Hey, Jack, how you doing?
Say hi. You want to give him a pose for a second? Give him an arm, bicep. Evan can do it. Here's another buddy. Evan,
look out!
This is
Look out!
This is going to be on YouTube, so you All right, here.
Ooh, very impressive,
Come
you
on, guys. Let's get them up there.
Woo! Good for
All right.
you.
See you, boys.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, guys. We
All right.
shall see you next time.
Till next time. Have a great week.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
For more information about this online community, to get your own copy of the book upon which this entire training series is based, either the ebook, the paperback, or the audiobook, go to mindtimeandpower.com, where you can also get a free copy of this Design Your Life workbook.